Hello and welcome back to another sports rant. This is the first time I'm doing this on YouTube. Please, if you would, subscribe, like if you like it, subscribe if you want to see more. Go follow the Spotify if you don't want to see my ugly mug. And yeah, let's get into it. The NFL season regular season is officially over. There are no more regular season games. The playoffs are set. And oh boy, that was a Sunday night beatdown on the final. The Lions secure the 1 seed in the NFC after absolutely beating down on on the Minnesota Vikings. That was talk about something I want to tell right now is running backs never left. And I never understood why people always said, "Oh, blah blah blah, running backs are so overpaid, so overvalued, blah blah blah." And this season really brought that back. That we realized we need good running backs, and good running backs are good for the NFL. Jahmyr Gibbs had 4 touchdowns. That was he told the Minnesota defense, "Go cut me a switch. I'll beat your ass." And that was awesome. As the kids say, he put belt to ass tonight. That was a beatdown. And granted, Minnesota is a good team. Got a lot of good players. It was just an outclass. There was one class. They were talking about the defense for the Lions today, being so banged up and how it would be such a shootout. And for people, whenever injuries happen, people tend to forget that sometimes it's not necessarily about who's out on the field. It's about the effort they put in, and the Lions defense just they played hard, and they played like they wanted the 1 seed and they deserved it, and that was personal, I think, for them. They took that. The whole team takes it personally, and Dan Campbell is a hell of a coach for coaching them into that mindset. That we will not be just bullied. They won't be bullied. They run hard. They remind me of a lot of like an older early 2000s teams, because they just play so hard. They feel that even though they are like one of the best teams in the league, they still play like the world's against them. And I think a lot of people were seeing, oh, the Vikings are so hot right now. That's really the pick, and they just took them to school. Jahmyr Gibbs is insane, and I think we should really appreciate our good running backs more. That was quite the day. We had quite the day happen. Jerod Mayo was fired from the New England job after just 1 season. That is some shocking news. And I heard a good point from my brother today that got me really thinking about it. I was like, when nobody else wants a guy, why did you hire him? I think the Patriots just wanted some familiarity after 20 years of Bill Belichick. They really felt like they needed somebody familiar in the room, coaching the team, and Jerod just kind of filled that and kind of made them feel better in themselves, and then everything just got worse. That the numbers don't really lie. After Bill left, the offense stayed bad and the defense got worse, and that was something that Jerod, like if Jerod had if the offense was still bad, but the defense, which is his baby, was good, then it was like, okay, you know what, the defense was good. We have Drake May, we can just get a new offensive coordinator, get things fixed, right? And we really ran into this issue where it's like Jerod Mayo everything got worse. So I have a couple of real like potential coaching hires. There are some potential coaching hires they might look at. I'm not sure if any of these guys will actually be hired. I think Mike Vrabel, I've said it over and over again, Mike Vrabel would probably fit perfectly with what the ownership wants, with what the fans want, and the fit for the team. But what Brian Johnson, just throw it out there, Lions or offensive coordinator, could probably do something. I know he is really interested in the Bears job, but I feel like playing like something's got to give for him, and I think he's a potential candidate. Brian Flores, throwing it out there, he did a really good job with the Minnesota defense this season. Not tonight, but this season he did a great job. They with a lot of guys who weren't like there were no big names on that Minnesota defense, and they were stout. And I think it was just Detroit was just outclassed them tonight. But over this past season, they did go 14-3. You got to give them credit for the whole season. But that could be a potential hire. He was one of Belichick's guys, so he could be a possible hire. We can just see. We'll just see. We'll see what plays out, who they hire. But yeah, I really am on. It got me thinking. This whole this game tonight that I watched, and just this whole season in general, got me really thinking. Like, running backs are back. They never left, but running backs are back. Saquon Barkley, 2,005 yards. Really is the deserved MVP, but it has become a quarterback award. But that, his just whole season performance was insane. We had just the resurgence of good old, some old fashioned tough football. Jahmyr Gibbs, the Lions are a prime example of where the league is going. And I think a lot of these running backs were thrown out to dry, like Derrick Henry, like Saquon Barkley. We're trading you. We need to get. We're trading you away. They got traded away, and their teams got considerably worse. The Titans just secured the number 1 seed tonight, and the Giants, are going to be picking in the top 5. I think they're the third overall pick. So it's going to be a rough season. Maybe I might have misspoken about the Giants. I don't think they're quite that high. Let me double check. I'm so sorry. NFL draft order. Should have pulled that up before I clicked record. But it is the Titans, the Browns, the Giants, and the Patriots. Giants, Patriots, Jaguars, Raiders, Jets, Panthers, etc. That was something and it got this whole idea got me thinking. We got to look forward right now, but to the NFL I want to look forward to the NFL playoff, which is really exciting. I want to give you some picks for just for the games right now. On the AFC side, we got the number 4 Texans versus the number 5 Chargers. The Texans are in a real bad place right now. They have not looked good over these past couple weeks, and I just think Los Angeles is just a better team. They run hard. I think Houston needs a couple more draft picks and needs to rethink a couple things, and then they should they should improve. But I'm going to take the Chargers probably pretty heavily in that game. Pittsburgh, Baltimore. There's always one team every year that always always one team in the playoffs that really doesn't feel like they belong there. And this year it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. And a lot of the time, sometimes a lot of the time it is the Steelers because they always have that kind of good. They have a good. Mike Tomlin always brings them up to this good record. They always have a winning record. They always have a good defense, which helps. But when they get to the playoffs, they're just outclassed on offensively, so they can't keep up with these good teams. So I'm going to take Baltimore in that one. Just Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar Jackson is gonna have a field day. It is kind of there is some familiarity, the division from the division, but the Ravens are rolling right now, and Pittsburgh is on a 4-game losing streak. It is true that once you get to the playoffs, it's 0-0, and once you get to the lines and get on the line, it doesn't matter what your record are. It doesn't matter the guy across from you, what his stats were the previous 18 weeks. It's about what happens in the games today. But I got to take Baltimore. They're just rolling right now. Denver and Buffalo, the number 7 and the number 2 seed. It's going to be in Buffalo. They always sell out a crowd. Denver, it was really nice. Bo Nix is great. Their offense is pretty good, and their defense is excellent. But Buffalo is just a tier above. Josh Allen they're pretty much coming off a bye today. They're just going to roll through this entire. There's no way Buffalo doesn't win this game, but if there is an upset in this first AFC bracket, Denver might be the upset, but it's going to be a couple more years before they are vying for that thing for a higher seed, and it's going to be hard because they have Patrick Mahomes in their division, and they have the Chargers in their division. It's going to be a difficult path, but that AFC West is stacked. It is stacked. Going over to the NFC side now, we got the number 5 ranked Minnesota versus the number 4 ranked Los Angeles Rams. This one's going to be an interesting game for sure. Very offensively. This is going to be an offense. It's going to be whose defense plays better, and I think Minnesota. I'm going to take Minnesota here, just because. This game, coming off of this loss tonight, coming off of this kind of this real bump in this season, I think Minnesota can. They played before and it went to overtime, but I think it just comes down to who has the better defense here, and I think Minnesota has the better defense. LA has some good pieces on that. They're really good young pieces on that defensive line, but it's just not enough. It just doesn't like. I think that will be decided. That's gonna be a low scoring game. I'm feeling. Unless something really major happens, because we get a lot of these narratives that it's like, oh, we got Puka Nacua, we got Justin Jefferson, we got Jordan Addison, we got Cooper Kupp, we've got all these it's going to be an offensive, high rise, high flying, high scoring game, and it kind of turns out that the defense prepped for those guys. Defense, we always forget about the hype of the other side, on the other side of the ball. It's like they hear a lot of those guys playing defense hear all that hype and hear the media talking about, oh, it's going to be such a high flying game. This is going to go crazy, and they go into that ready to play, and they go in there and they're gonna Van Ginkel from Minnesota. He's a special player. That whole defense is really just well rounded. I think they did a good job. To their credit, they did get waxed tonight, but I think Detroit has one of the best, if not the best, offense in the league. And it's a division. It was just a rough night for them in general. Not a bad first half. The second half just really got out of hand. But anyway, I'll move on to the number 6 seed, Washington versus Tampa Bay. This one is really a coin. This is a coin flip for me. I love Baker Mayfield. He has been one of the stars of this season. If you think about it like a TV show like that. Jaden Daniels has also been one of the stars of this season. He's probably going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Washington has a great story. They've done a good job there with what they were given to start the season. They turned around a dumpster fire there, but. This is another one where I really want to see who, like, if you don't really know what to pick, it's always good to go with the better quarterback. I think Baker is a better quarterback right now. I don't know how long that's going to last, but Baker is a great player, and I think Tampa Bay fits him perfectly. I think they beat them in week 1, so it's gonna be an interesting matchup for sure. And this could very be this and the Denver Buffalo game could very well be an upset for Washington. But granted, I gotta take Tampa Bay. They just seem like a better, more well-rounded team. They're always in the playoffs. They seem they're just a good, well-run organization down there. I gotta take Tampa Bay, and finally, the number 7 Green Bay Packers versus the number 2 Philadelphia Eagles. The Green Bay Packers got embarrassed today by the Chicago Bears, which sounds so weird to say, especially with the seasons they both had. And they got embarrassed. That was a drubbing. Today, they are just on the wrong trend. You want to end the season, a lot of your season. You want to end your season, kind of on the uptick. That's why I'm so concerned about Houston, about Pittsburgh, and about Minnesota and Green Bay. I don't trust them to win this playoff game because they're just coming off of these big slumps, and you see a lot of that. The playoff teams that come off slumps tend to play worse. And Green Bay, they are a good team. But Philadelphia is just a level above. Saquon Barkley is rested. Philadelphia probably has the most well-rounded roster on this in the league. Period. They're just that good. They just have guys at every position. Their defense is solid. Their offense is solid. I think they're going to make a pretty deep run. Dare I say it? There's a lot. This is going to be exciting. I'm excited for playoff football. It's always fun to watch. Just to review my picks again, we have the Chargers beating Houston in Houston. We have Baltimore beating Pittsburgh, and we have Buffalo defeating Denver, and now and that's all on the AFC side. We have on the NFC side, I have Minnesota over LA. I have Tampa Bay over Washington, and I have Philadelphia over Green Bay. That should be the that is my playoff predictions. We'll see what happens, but it's been a fun NFL season. There's been a lot of stories, a lot of different things, and it got me thinking while I was ruminating about this. It got me thinking, like, what was the theme of this season? Because I was kind of like asked that question. Like, what was the theme of this NFL season? And I think the theme of this NFL season is redemption. We see a lot of guys. Sam Darnold. We see Baker Mayfield. We see Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry. These guys are good. Jameis Winston. These guys show us that, you know what, you don't maybe you're not in the right situation now. It's a beautiful thing to see. You might not be in the right situation for you. You may be good, but you're just not in the right situation. Sometimes you got to change your scenery, and then you flourish. And it really is. This whole NFL season has really been about redemption, and about, yeah, you know what, sometimes the old tough guy ways kind of work. And sometimes, you know what, we write off a quarterback. Bryce Young today played his ass off. Threw a touchdown without even looking. He threw the ball, turned around, and celebrated as his receiver caught the touchdown, like Steph Curry hitting a three-pointer. It was insane. And last year we had written this guy off. We had thought, the Panthers are probably going to move off of him. They're probably going to try and go get Shedeur Sanders. And even halfway through this season, he got benched for Andy Dalton. And he came back stronger. And he came back playing way better. And it was funny because we were always, we jumped, us as the fans and as the media, jumped to this, CJ Stroud's so much better.